Welcome back to DVC Weekly. This is episode 16. My name is Jason Erpelding. I'm the broker of Buy and Sell DVC. And this is Scott Ferrioli.
I'm the owner of DVC-Rental.com and BuyandSellDVC.com.
And today is June 2nd, 2021. So your 11th month window for booking at your home resort is going to be 5/2/22. And your 7th month window is going to be the new year, January 2nd, 2022.
Happy New Year.
Yes. So I just want to mention, as in the previous video, if you have a personal DVC experience or tips that you would like to share with our audience, please let us know. You can film a video, preferably like 4 to 7, 8 minutes in length. You can share your tips, whether you're a renter, whether you're a DVC owner, and you can say, hey, this is, we like to stay at this resort because it's easy to this park. This is how we travel. Maybe your 11-year-old son wants to share, his favorite DVC resort, park, water slide. You have a grandma out there that wants to share her tips on, packing the lunches to go to Magic Kingdom with all the grandkids. Whatever it is, we'd love to. And if you've worked with Buy and Sell DVC or DVC-Rental, even better. It's not a requirement. If you're interested, please email me at jason@buyandsellDVC.com. I'll send you an email with some tips or tricks on a video, and we'd love to have you, include you in the program. And I'm going to shoot it over to Scott. Scott is going to discuss the adventures that you can do at Universal Studios. Now, I just want to mention before he starts that I am someone that is severe motion sickness. So this is a place that is very intimidating to me with all of its rides, all of its upside down. So I just want to mention that before I turn it over to Scott.
Yeah, this is not the right park for Jason. Universal Studios, fantastic park, just like Disney, probably geared more towards adults, teenagers, or I have a 10-year-old who's a big thrill junkie, loves the coasters. He loves it there too, but the majority of the park is roller coasters and simulator rides. There's very little amounts of stuff to do for children. So if you've got a young family, Universal probably is not the way to go. But in coaster rides, they've got the new Velocicoaster, which is the best coaster on Disney or Universal property. Fantastically done.
I think it opens in 8 days.
It opens in 8 days, so you better go get in line right now if you want to be the first ones to ride the ride. But lots of great rides. Spider-Man, Hulk, Jurassic Park Adventure, Escape from Gringotts. They've got both Islands Adventure and Universal Studios have Harry Potter sections in them. Both are really, really well done. Escape from Gringotts is on Universal side. We did not like Forbidden Journey. Forbidden Journey is one of the only rides to make my whole family not sick. Nobody ever got sick. But when your thrill junkie 10-year-old who loves coasters gets off the ride and says, can we please never go on that again? And you're like, nope, never gonna do that again. It was just a little much. It's a simulator ride. It's got you on like an arm and it moves the car up and down and kind of flips you all over. And it was enough to make everybody have to sit down for about 15 minutes before we could do anything else. And I think maybe, I can't even recall, maybe we were able to do another ride after that. We may have just gone home. I don't remember. But it was enough that we did not like the ride at all. But lots of stuff, the Mummy Coaster, a couple simulators, like I mentioned, Spider-Man, same with Transformers, very similar. Men in Black rides, fun. That's a dark ride that, again, that's one decent for kids, Men in Black. Same with E.T., which is similar to like a Peter Pan ride, dark ride, going through the air, except you're on a bicycle instead of, flying in a pirate ship. Probably a little better done than the Peter Pan ride. There's lots of animatronics and fun stuff going on, but very, very good park rides for both parks, and Hogwarts Express that takes you between the two parks, which is a really nice feature to have. Instead of having to walk between them, you can take the fun train ride, which is themed, and it's a ride in itself. So very, very well done. Food at the parks, not as good as Disney. A lot of times a lot of people think of Disney all you get is chicken nuggets and pizza, hot dogs, hamburgers, which is not the case. A lot of places do serve that, but it's not the case. Universal, it's even more the case. Most of the sit-down restaurants, that's what they're serving. There are others, not every single place only has that, but there's a lot less food options inside the park, personally. I've eaten much more on Disney property. I find the food to be a lot better. There's still a lot of great snacks at Universal, and they're less expensive, which is really nice. Or also, truthfully, if it was up to me and I wanted to eat at one of the parks, one of the great things about Universal is that the parks are right next to each other, and you have to walk through City Walk to get to them. So they're all connected right there, which is really nice, kind of like in Disneyland in California. You've got both parks there, and you've got downtown Disney. So, I mean, it's all very nicely located. I would leave the parks and go eat outside right there at City Walk. A lot of great restaurants, Bubba Gump, Margaritaville, Toothsome Chocolate Emporium. I know we spoke about this before. Jason's, I think he and his family really like that. And what's really good is that if you go to Universal after 6 o'clock, you don't have to pay for parking. So if you're going just to go for dinner, you don't want to pay $25 to park to go to dinner. So after 6 o'clock, you can head there. Any of the restaurants, it's going to be all open for you. Fun stuff to walk around and check out too. So it might be good for your family just to go there. Go to Voodoo Donuts, really good donut shop there. But I liked Everglazed at Disney Springs a little bit better. Also a little more expensive, but Voodoo Donuts is fun too. But lots of really cool stuff at Universal. Again, very, very different park than Disney.
When I talk to families that are going to Universal, it's typically they're going there because they have the teenage, daughters, teenage sons. It's not typically, like the 4 to 6 year olds that are going to
Correct.
Universal.
If you're bringing a 4 to 6 year old, there's really not much for them to do. I mean, Islands of Adventure has like a Seuss Land. It's called Seuss Landing, where there's like 3 rides. Technically there's 3 rides there, but there's not a lot of stuff for little kids to do there. I mean, again, very good park. I have a friend who has, one day she could be watching this. If you are, hi, Kimmy. I know she loves Universal, and she has a bunch of little kids, and she used to bring them all the time. I know they used to have great character interaction with the kids, especially in Seuss Land. They got the Grinch, and they've got like all their all like the Dr. Seuss characters, the Cat in the Hat and stuff. And they always got fantastic attention from them. So maybe that's a great option for kids as well. But personally, if it was up to me and I was spending, Disney prices to go to a park, I wouldn't take my kids there. It's just not worth it. There's not enough for them to do.
But if you're into the coasters.
If you're into the coasters, this is the park for you.
That was my coaster signal, apparently.
I like that. I don't know
where
if you're
that
into
came
coasters. But yeah, this is the park for you if you're into coasters and/or simulator rides. Definitely more intense. Velocicoaster is absolutely fantastic.
Now you did mention something earlier before we started. So let's say someone did go there that does have motion sickness. Do you recommend like they could take something before they go, or?
I mean,
just not go?
If you know that you have motion sickness, take something. I mean, go get yourself Bonine or Dramamine or something to help with seasickness, motion sickness. I mean, typically, when I go to Disney, I don't take anything. When I go to Universal, I typically take a Dramamine before I go, or Meclizine is the, because I'm a doctor, Meclizine is the generic term for the sickness stuff. I take something, I'll give my little guy who's a coaster junkie one of those as well. If you're prepared for it, it might be a little bit better for you. But again, if you're somebody who's used to getting sick, or you get motion sick easily, I'm not sure how much a Meclizine or whatever is going to really help you. But take one. It can't hurt.
But please use responsibly, of course.
Yes, exactly. Be responsible.
Anything else you want to add to the? So I guess my question is, what is the one roller coaster or ride that they must do if they go there?
Right, for roller coaster, definitely Velocicoaster. I mean, again, we did it on an AP preview a couple weeks ago. It was a fantastic ride. I wish there were more animatronics on it. Unless they've changed something, it was mostly just static velociraptors just sitting there not moving as you're going through it. Where Hagrid's, you have the animatronics on there, which really adds to it. I mean, it's a fantastic coaster. I would definitely choose that one. I wish they'd done something else with it. There's one point where you go down and you're kind of upside down facing the water. And it seems like they're probably going to make the whole area more of a Jurassic World area instead of Jurassic Park. Like we were there, they have a Jurassic World store that hasn't opened yet, but it's going to be a feature store there. And I don't know, you're going towards the water, why they don't do something with the Mosasaurus, something that kind of moves or pops up, or smoke comes up towards the water, something sprays, so you think that like the Mosasaurus could be coming. I think they just kind of like missed the mark a little bit with stuff like that, with not having any animatronics or not doing anything as you go towards the water. I mean, but again, even if it was just a Mosasaurus that was just sitting there, not moving, just something when you go towards it and you're like, oh my God, there it is, and have some smoke coming around it, picture the Yeti with some flashing on it, you think it's moving. Have something there, but again, fantastic coaster. That's the ride.
And that's, I forget, Universal Studios is divided up into
Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure.
And the Velocicoaster is in?
Velocicoaster is in Islands of Adventure.
Okay. So admission works like you pick one or the other if you're just going to one?
You can buy a one-day, one-park ticket, or you can buy a ticket that will allow you into both parks.
Okay.
And then they also have Volcano Bay, which is their water park option as well, which you can buy a ticket that'll get you into all of those as well. Personally, I have not been there yet, but that's an option as well.
Okay. And now we're going to go into your food of the week.
Come here, I'm gonna eat you! Get in my belly!
So for the food of the week, I'm staying at Universal Studios. For the first time, we tried out the San Francisco Candy Factory. It's kind of on the way to the Harry Potter land. You go through San Francisco area, and really, really some nice options in there. Little sweets. We got the Butterfinger brownie. So you got a brownie with Butterfinger kind of crushed up in the brownie itself. And we also got the M&M s'mores. So picture a s'more where you've got the 2 graham crackers, marshmallow in the middle, and then the whole thing is covered with a chocolate coating and then small M&Ms on top. Both of these, I want to point out, were $4.50, which compared to Disney's prices, especially for the brownie, because it's a nice thick-sized brownie, that's a pretty good deal. If it was Disney, it'd probably $6 or so. And then you get 10% discount for being an annual pass holder. At least we do. Again, the higher levels, you get up to 20% discount. But the Butterfinger brownie, I thought was really, really good. I thought it was fudgy, fantastic. My wife thought it was a little more cakey. I'm not sure, but I gave it an 8.1, thought it was really, really good. As for the s'mores, I think my expectations were too high on it. When you think about it, when you picture a s'more in your head, you picture yourself going outside and you're melting the marshmallow and it's gooey and it's amazing. When you dissect this and you picture just having 2 graham crackers, an uncooked marshmallow, and just covered in chocolate, you go, oh, that's not as exciting as you picture when you think s'mores. And that's how we felt. It was okay. I gave it a 4.2. It's still good. It's not bad, but I would never get it again for the same exact price. This Butterfinger brownie just blew it out of the water. So I'd stick with that. So
just to give people a question here, because not everyone may know where everything's located in Central Florida. This is just really a guesstimate on your end. Let's say someone's staying at Old Key West, and a father and teenage son want to go to Universal for the day. They don't have a car with them. They didn't rent a car, and they want to take an Uber or a Lyft. Do you have an idea on what the approximate cost is going to be on that, or? Not really. I can tell you it's probably about a 15-minute ride. Okay. I would guess that an Uber is probably going to run you around ballpark $25. Because miles-wise, it's not really that far. No, it's not that far. It's just, it just takes a little while to get there sometimes. But maybe a $25 ride. So, it's definitely an option. It's not like we're talking, Disney's and Universal are extreme distances apart. Oh, no, they're all relatively close. Same with SeaWorld. They're all within, 15, 10 minutes of each other. But really nice option to have with Universal. If you're a coaster guy, a thrill seeker, this park is better for you. If you've got younger kids, I personally would not bring them to the park. One day, you'll get there, but Disney's kind of built for everybody, and there's coasters there that your kids won't qualify for, height-wise as well. But there's lots of family-friendly stuff. Universal really doesn't have much on the family-friendly side, but for thrill rides, it's definitely ahead of Disney. And I'm sorry, what were the food review scores on those? Butterfinger brownie got a strong 8.1. I would get that again, and I would get that right now because I'm getting kind of hungry. The s'mores, I would push off to you and let you eat the s'mores, which got a 4.2. I'll take it. So now I'm just going to discuss a couple of other options that are here in Central Florida. and maybe this is for the non-thrill seekers. I don't know. But I was just going to discuss Gatorland. So Gatorland is another option where, again, it's if you're familiar with going from the airport to Disney, most likely you're going to take 417. Gatorland is off of 417 on Orange Blossom Trail. And my family, I have two sons, 11 and 9-year-old now. We used to be pass holders for Gatorland, a little bit more tame there with not the thrill rides.
I hope you're on point with Gatorland, because we got our buddy Chris Malik from WDW Review. He's a huge Gatorland fan, so if you see anything wrong, he's going to be yelling at the screen right now.
Oh,
so
really?
I hope you're good to go with Gatorland, because I've never been there. I want to go sometime, but I've never been to Gatorland. So bring it.
So just, to give you an idea, it's not it's definitely not the size of any of the Disney parks or the Universal parks. It's a smaller park, but when you go by it, like in the line to get in is generally always a big line. I don't know if that has to do with their system of getting people in, but there's always a good size line to get in. But if you have kids, they have different stuff they do with the gators. Feeding the gators. There's snakes there. There's wrestling the gators. And now they even have more activities there. My mind just drew a blank. When you go down the rope thing.
Zip line?
Zip line, thank you. So they even have a zip line option there now.
Over the gators?
No. And it's just, especially I have family that lives in Iowa, so, like.
Not a lot of zip lining in Iowa?
So, well, there's not a lot of
gators?
There's not gators. So it's like, they get to come in a controlled environment. They get to see the gators. They get to see all these other things. And, it's very inexpensive to get in there. And, it's just, and especially if you have, kids under 10, there's not a lot of walking around. It's very family, kid friendly. And then I was just going to mention, because if you go out to Gatorland, then you go into Lake Toho Kapilia. Most people just call it Lake Toho. I
know nothing about this.
So it's probably the number one, bass fishing lake in Orlando. Of course, there's bass fishing guides at Disney. There's plenty of options at Disney for bass fishing. You can, hire, at Bay Lake Tower, wherever the case may be.
I'm actually going to be doing that in about a month from now.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
Doing the bass fishing with the EdCot guys, and the WW Review is going to be coming down. One of the things we're going to be doing is a bass fishing trip in the lake. So I can tell you how that goes eventually. But
perfect.
Hoping I don't get seasick.
So you have those options, and then if you really want it, you can go to Lake Toho, and there's bass fishing guides that will take you out, and Lake Toho has bass that are. There's all sorts of vegetation there. So there's, people catching, 8 to 10 pound bass on a regular basis. A lot of the guys, of course, use, live shiners, but, you can fish.
Hot dogs?
What?
Hot dogs?
Yeah, so you can use hot dogs, artificial. And then, of course, if you want to go to a beach, you have people that'll go, here in Orlando, they'll go to Clearwater or they'll go to Cocoa Beach. It's another thing where, I go back to family from Iowa. They come here, they want to see a beach, even if it's only for 4 hours. They're going to drive to Cocoa or they're going to drive to Clearwater. And so, you really have, this episode, you really have all sorts of, let's say we have people that we sponsored the DIB.
I was just going to bring it up, yep.
You have people coming from the UK that may be coming here for anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks. So they're looking to, kind of touch on everything. So, you can go to, do all sorts of stuff at Disney. You can go to Universal, experience all those thrill rides. You have a family with little kids. You can go to Gatorland. You can go bass fishing. You can go to the beach.
I haven't done these things. Have you done any of the airboat rides?
So my wife has.
Okay.
And I've been on Lake Toho. So with the airboat rides, a couple of things. Number one, they're extremely loud. But they do give you the ear coverings. But you're gonna see gators. There's gators everywhere in Florida, of course. but it's in a controlled environment.
Watch out for gators.
But I personally have not been on the airboat ride, but yes, I was going to mention that. So again, at Lake Toho, that's another place where you can do airboat rides, and again, you can do that with kids. 2 years. I mean, they're going to wear a life vest and everything, and you have the ear protection. But you're going to experience, something that, I mean, it's like, if you want to call it real Florida, whatever the case may be. It's going to be, you're going to see nature, and
I need to expand a little bit. I've been living here for coming up on 5 years. The only beach I've gone to is Vero Beach. I haven't done Gatorland. I haven't done airboat rides. I haven't gone fishing since I've been down here. I haven't gone to a regular beach besides Vero. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I can do.
But it sounds like you're busy with your the roller coaster junkie.
Yeah, the roller coaster junkie just wants to do coasters. He won't let me go anywywhere else. I did take him mini golfing the other day. He loves mini golf too, so let's go mini golfing. But I mean, yeah, there's a lot of, as Jason pointed out, there's a lot of stuff to do here. It's not just Disney. I mean, that's the focus that everything kind of, everything revolves around Disney. But then you've got Universal, your SeaWorld, your bigger stuff. And then after that, there's a lot of other stuff. Like you mentioned, like if you're coming down here for a couple of weeks, you're overseas, you're going to be here. There's a lot of fun stuff to do that, we haven't even really touched on that you need to look into though. And I need to personally look into it as well.
I mean, again, it's all about making memories. If you're like in the last episode, we talked about the ale house. So like if you're worried, if your husband's worried that he's going to miss the Ravens game, and then you have your teenage son, your husband and your teenage son, they can go to Universal Studios, ride the Velocicoaster. They can go to Lake Toho, catch a bass. They can catch a bass on Disney. I mean, there's like a lot of times people say, we've been to Magic Kingdom, we've done this. There's a whole range of activities that you can do in, a relatively small area of space here. So
I need to branch out. I say this in all honesty, I really do, because I barely go 15 miles out of the circumference of my house. I barely go anywhere. It's mostly just, sitting, we're sitting here working and getting food, going to Disney or Universal, or haven't gone to SeaWorld in a little while, but I mean, we barely get out. And I was going, I really need to take advantage of some of this. I got to go do an airboat ride. I definitely got to do Gatorland. So that seems like a lot of fun, and we got to do that.
So we hope you enjoyed this episode. And again, if you want to share any personal experiences, please email me, jason@buyandselldvc.com. I'll send you some further details on some tips or tricks that you can do when you shoot the video. We appreciate you watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, share it with others. We appreciate it.
All I can think of is that right now, I know people are watching this. I know my buddy Jeremy Murray is watching this. He's a big fisherman. He said I have to come up visit him. I think he's got some crazy bass fishing right by his house. Malik's yelling at us about Gatorland. So, Jeremy, Chris, anybody wants to send a video about Gatorland or send a video about the fishing by you or send a video of anything, hit up Jason. We'll gladly include you guys. And we appreciate all of you. And thank you very much for watching.
Thank you.